the second time she's won in the rainbow bands. Second went to Cecile Uttrup-Ludwig, and Demi Vollering went onto the podium for third.
To be able to win, I think this was the closest of every year, and I also could feel I was pretty tired in the race. And it started to rain, of course, so yeah, it was a hard race and happy to win. And yeah, I mean, the team did a lot for me this year. They were riding really, really good and hard, so I felt some pressure to finish it off this year.
Well, still with those rainbow jersey on her shoulders, we take a look at the winners over the past 10 years. Van der Breggen, with the 6th victory since 2015, nobody has been able to conquer the Meurderie other than the Dutch woman. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the French woman, won in 2014. Marianne Vos winning back in 2011. We've had 4 different winners in the last 10 years. 11 victories for the Netherlands, 4 for Great Britain with Emma Pooley and Nicole Cook, 3 for Italy with Fabiana Luperini. As we look at the sign-on this morning in the heart of Meurderie, before the riders will tackle later on the Meurderie. Amanda Spratt, one to watch for today from Bike Exchange. Annemiek van Vleuten will be wanting to add this race to her Palmares. Never been able to conquer the Meurderie. Has come close, been on the podium. And the team to watch today will be Jumbo-Visma with Marianne Vos, who will be wearing the magenta UCI Women's World Tour Leaders jersey. Elisa Longo-Borghini will want to try and take that victory after a victory a few weeks ago in Trofeo Binda in that Italian champions jersey. And there is our world champion, Anna van der Breggen, with her SD Works team. A very strong squad on the start line today for them, supported by Caroline Canuel, Niamh Fisher-Black from New Zealand, Ashley Moolman-Pasio from South Africa, Anna Shackley, the young British rider, and Demi Vollering, who was on the podium last year in 3rd place.
How are you?
Well, the official start was given. They were able to roll out of Huy at 8:35 this morning. Very early start. It was a fresh and sunny beginning to the day. 24 teams took to the start, 140 riders. Well, we take a look at the course today. 130.2 kilometers of racing, starting in the Grand Place in Huy. They roll out and will take on 8 climbs, 2 of those times being the Meurderie. Some new climbs on the circuit today. The first major climb coming after 54.2 kilometers of racing, and then the climbs came in quick succession there. 63.3 kilometers, then 68.8 kilometers. Onto one of the harder climbs today, Côte d'Ivoire at 83.2. The first crossing and passage of the finish line at 98.5 kilometers at the Meurderie. 111 kilometers the Côte d'Aref, and 120.6 kilometers we have the Côte de Chemin de Gus. And finally, who will conquer the Meurderie after 130 kilometers of racing? Currently the situation on the road is Lucinda Brand, Alice Chabet and Anna Henderson are in a breakaway. Their time was up to 1 minute and 20 seconds. Niamh Fisher-Black from SD Works was trying to bridge across, but was consequently caught by the peloton. Earlier on in the day, we had 2 other escapees. Polish champion Marta Lack from Ceratizit WNT Pro Cycling. They got to a gap of around 45 seconds. She was joined by Femke Garitza from Park Hotel Valkenburg. The duo were working well, and were only caught over the top of the Côte de Thon. So for this trio out front now, the gap has gone down to 36 seconds. Anna Henderson joined Jumbo-Visma for this year. Last year she was with Team Sunweb. And she's had a very, very strong start to the year, racing with the likes of Marianne Vos, Rihanna Marcus. 22 years of age. And she's had some great results, second in the National Road Race Championships back in 2019. And this year she's had some great results as well. She was fourth in the opening stage of the Healthy Aging Tour. Eighth in La Semine. Also joining her there is Lucinda Brand of Trek Segafredo, cyclocross world champion. As we just take a look at Julie van der Velde of Jumbo-Visma leading and patrolling the front of this peloton now in the chasing group at 37 seconds is Caroline Canuel, the Canadian road race champion for SD Works. Closely followed by Anna Shackley. A real great signing for the team this year. She was a former points race national champion. Raced with the Great Britain Cycling Academy. And then signed her first pro contract with SD Works this year. And really has been a promising talent after looking at the way she rode at Amstel Gold on Sunday. Well, this trio out front working very, very well together. Swiss champion on the front there with the red jersey and the white cross on her back for Canyon SRAM Racing, Elise Chabet. She's a doctor who, in the midst of the pandemic, went back to the hospitals in Switzerland and was helping out whilst the racing was postponed. 27 years of age now. Won that national championship in the back end of last year. Signed with Canyon SRAM for 2 years, so this is her first year with the team. And with 36.3 kilometres remaining, the trio holding this gap very, very well, and despite a chase from SD Works, they're controlling it well. But as we near the first passage of the Mer de Huy, just saw the 5 kilometre sign on the side there. Well, this is the 7th race in the UCI Women's World Tour Series. And in their best interest to keep helping each other and each of these riders, setting things up nicely for what we would expect to be their leaders. Lucinda Brand setting things up nicely for Elisa Longo-Borghini, Anna Henderson with Marianne Vos on the team, and Elise Chabet with Cassia Nieuwedome, the rider who we saw attack at on the Cowberg on Sunday.
They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But what about an old fox? Prime Video is now on Foxtel, meaning you can now find even more of your favorite shows and movies all in one place.
It's in all of us. That craving to feel new again. To see something new that will blow our minds. Or meet someone new who will change it. New South Wales. A place to feel free. To feel alive. And most of all, to feel new again.
A home loan you can feel good about makes you feel like you're winning. Over and over again. Pay no annual home loan fee for the life of your loan. Banking you can feel good about.
At the Benevolent Society, we put people first and support Australians. We help you live life on your terms. To live safely and thrive. And connect you with the information and resources you need. Because we believe that you deserve to live your life your way.
I have a murder to solve. Half of them won't even talk to me. No one will talk to us. A girl is dead. Those fellas are covering something up.
Hey!
Something's not right.
Come back here!
Welcome to my country.
True Colours, from the 4th to the 7th of July on SBS On Demand as part of NAIDOC Week.
Put in a fantastic effort on top of there and was caught with Elisa Longo-Borghini in the closing metres, cruising a few hundred metres. As the riders, they'll turn right now and start the Murder-Wee for the first time. And for those of you who have never seen the Murder-Wee before, it's an extremely hard climb. .3 kilometres in length and an average gradient of 9.6%. But in parts, this climb goes up to 12, 13, 14%. It's very, very difficult, and the steepest section of the courses, with around 400 metres to go, is 19%. So you can just think of how hard, and also gear selection, positioning in the bunch, how important it is. On the front there then, leading the front of the peloton, Elena Amilusic, Amanda Spratt, the Australian rider, Ruth Winder, the USA road race champion. I'm just trying to get a look of where Anna van der Berger is. She's up towards the front. Well, Shabby, happy to set the pace on this climb. Perhaps a good move as well. You ride at your own tempo, at your own pace. You dictate how fast you're going up this climb. Make sure that you're keeping things and the trio together, riding well within yourself and riding in the centre of the road. As they swing left, this is where it ramps up considerably. You can just see how steep the gradient is. Shabby takes a look behind her just to see perhaps where the peloton is. Lucinda Brand just coming alongside Shabby, taking her own line. Leading proceedings there was Marlin Reusser of the Ali BTC Ljubljana team. Krista Dubel-Hickok from Raleigh, cycling there, just leading the front. The rider from the USA with 213 on her back, the orange jerseys with the arrows, the white arrows. And you can already start to see just how fragmented this peloton is becoming, the reduced peloton. It really is a very, very difficult climb. Riders already have 98 kilometres in the legs, and they've crossed some of the hardest climbs we've ever seen. Some of them new to the race this year. You can just start to get the first glimpse of Annemiek van Vleuten of Movistar. You can just see her there in the European Champions jersey with the blue M on her shoulders. The rainbow bands just around the cuff of her sleeve as well. A rider who will be looking to take your victory today. She's never won this race, despite her illustrious palmares. She'll certainly be looking to try something today to change that. Another rider who will be looking to take a victory today. Elisa Longo-Borghini, Kasia Nieuwedama, Cecilia Uttrup-Ludwig, Liana Lippert, what can she do for Team DSM? Ashley Moolman-Passio has been on the podium before, a rider who has had 8 top 10 finishes. She finished second in 2018 and certainly will be one of the ones to watch today. Anna van der Breggen saying yesterday in a press conference that she was suffering from a cold last week, so she's not quite sure where her form is at. And on a climb and on a finish in a race like FLÈCHE WALLONNE, finishing on the climb like the Mer de Huy, you have to be in your best shape possible if you want a chance of winning. She certainly opened up the lungs, let's say, at Amstel Gold Race. Good to go deep on the Cowberg in Amstel, so let's see how she's recovered from that for today. But nonetheless, Anna van der Breggen and the SD Works team have a strong team and of riders who could vie for the win. Ashley Moolman-Passio and Demi Vollering. Vollering was second to compatriot Marianne Vos in Amstel Gold on Sunday. So then, over the first passage of the Mer de Huy, as they heard the bell with 1 lap remaining, 41.2 kilometres to go. The gap came down slightly to 22 seconds. You can see 24 seconds on our screen there, but the motorbike has just shown the board 30 seconds is the gap. And straight away over the top of the climb, all 3 riders got themselves back working together to get that momentum, to get that cohesion going again. All 3 very committed to this breakaway. It's incredibly important to make sure that each of the riders in the breakaway are giving their turn, keeping the pace going. If they want to stay out front. All 3 riders having a great season so far. Anna Henderson turned pro at the beginning of last year, having ridden for a British elite team. She signed with Team Sunweb at the start of last year. She was a stagiaire with Team Tibco Silicon Valley Bank. And then this year, her transition to Team Jumbo-Visma with the likes of Marianne Vos there really has developed Anna Henderson. She can learn from the best, gain that experience. She's a former downhill skier. She came to cycling after she had an injury with the downhill skiing, was using cycling for fitness. And as soon as she came to the sport of cycling, was very good. She was winning already on the British scene, British Criterium champion, 1 rounds of the Tour Series, which is a criterium-based series in the UK, and really stamped her mark on the scene, was noticed and picked up by Team Sunweb, and since then she's gone from strength to strength. Lars Bohm in the car then, giving the directions out for Team Jumbo-Visma, or Lisa Lotte de Croo, sorry. Lars Bohm, of course, with Liv Cycling. Another team who's got a strong squad today, Soraya Paladin, Alison Jackson, to name but a few. And here we can see Anna van der Breggen sitting on the wheel of Annemiek van Vleuten, the European champion. So 2 champions from the Netherlands. Annemiek van Vleuten racing for Movistar. They've got Katrin Allerud in the team, Aude Bianic, Sara Martin, Paola Pantino and Leah Thomas. Pablo Lastras is the sports director in the car. Anna Annemiek van Vleuten has been a fantastic addition to that squad with the iconic blue jersey with the M on the jersey. Well, thank you to all those who have joined us around the world. Good evening to the Couch Peloton. If you have any questions, you can send them in to me and I can answer them at Spanner Walker. It's a pleasure for you all to join me today, and great to have you all along for the ride. This is the 24th edition of FLÈCHE Wallonne. In the current situation, we have 3 riders out front. SD Works are the team on the front in the purple who are working to try and close this gap. The breakaway reached a maximum of 1 minute and 20 seconds for the trio of Brand, Chabet and Henderson. And it's now Caroline Canuel, Niamh Fisher-Black and Anna Shackley who are on the front doing the work for the team in purple. There's our USA road race champion, Ruth Winder for Trek Segafredo. Took a victory just a week ago in Brabantse-Pijl, where she beat Demi Vollering in that photo finish. It was ever so close. Well, there is Demi Vollering sitting on the wheel of Erica McNaldy. You can just see there Leah Thomas and Annemiek van Vleuten just having a chat to each other. And 2 teammates from the Spanish squad. Talking about what the tactics will be. What does Annemiek van Vleuten want Leah Thomas to do? She's got a very strong squad around her, and I think for me today, what can Annemiek van Vleuten do on the Mer de Huy? I can't imagine she's going to go early. She'll want to leave it towards the end. Well, it's still SD Works on the front doing the chasing at the moment. Here is our first look at former South African road race champion Ashley Moore-Mapasio, who was second in 2018 with number 4 on her back. She's just moving up through this chasing group, sitting in the wheels, trying to save as much as she can. Certainly could be one to challenge for the victory today if Anna van der Breggen isn't feeling so good. As I said before, if you've just joined us, Van der Breggen was suffering from a little bit of illness last week, so it does put a little bit of doubt into how she can perform today. Hopefully she's been able to recover since Amstel Gold as well. And really, as a rider, you only know once you get onto the start line how good you really do feel, and I think after that first ascent of the Mer de Huy will really give a great indication as to what she can do today. Can she take that 7th victory in a row? She really has been the queen of the Mer de Huy since 2015. Cecilia Trubludwig of FDJ Nouvelle Aquitaine Futuroscope. To me, looks like getting ready to race, taking off her mitts, giving it to her teammate. Vita music there with number 16 on her back. Some riders like to race without the mitts. They really have that feeling that you're getting ready to race as the closing stages, as we near the finale, start to get ready. As you see Chateau d'Estrée, beautiful setting here in Belgium on the east side. The race today into the province of Liège and the province of Namur. 8 climbs in total. 6 of them different and 2 times up the Mur de Huy. A lot of steep, punchy climbs. It's certainly a race where you have to bide your time, be patient. As we've seen in previous years, Ruth Winder there just moving Elisa Longo Borghini, the Italian champion, up the left-hand side of the peloton. Here is our world champion into the peloton and causing accidents and crashes, so has been revised. So if you do see riders throwing bidons at the side, it most likely will be in a litter zone or in the feed zone at the top of where the soigneurs are. Julie van der Velde.
Anything can happen on your next trip.
Voila!
Ah, this is a life, eh, Sergey? Just you and me and the sun.
Mr. Alexander?
Travel with confidence on your next holiday. Buy travel insurance and compare the market.
Simple. You can let go now, Sergey.
It's in all of us. That craving to feel new again. To see something new that will blow our minds. Or meet someone new who will change it. New South Wales. A place to feel free. To feel alive. And most of all, to feel new again.
Just losing a few bike lengths off the back of this peloton now. Only around 40 riders left in this peloton. 140 riders started this morning at 8:35 from 24 different teams. And many different nationalities as well. Youngest rider in the race, Alice Towers of Drops Le Col. The oldest rider here is Sandra Levenet from Arkea Pro Cycling. Alice Towers, only 19 years of age, a young rider from Great Britain. So as we start the lower slopes of our next climb, the Côte d'Aref, three leaders have 28 seconds lead over the peloton. 2.1 kilometers in length at an average gradient of 5%. And after this we'll have 2 more classified climbs, Côte de Chemin, and then the final assault on the Mur de Huy. The first rider across each of the classified climbs will win €250. But the main target today will be who can take the victory at top of the Murderwee. Ashley Moolman-Pasio here to the front, really putting an injection of pace into the lower slopes of the climb. Ruth Winder there in the Stars and Stripes just on her wheel. Now we're starting to see Anna Henderson in difficulty as Lucinda Brand presses on. Elise Chabet able to stay with her. But the pace just a little bit too much for the British rider. Henderson in the yellow there. Ashley Moolman-Pasio just taking a look behind her to see what the damage is done. Niamh Fisher-Black comes through again for SD Worx. And you can already start to see the riders just starting to suffer from that injection of pace. Here is Corinne Rivera with number 45 on her back from Team DSM in the black. This is Talita de Jong from Bingold Casino Chevelmire, the Belgian team. Talita de Jong, former cyclocross world champion. And there we see in that long shot, the peloton not far behind at all after the constant chasing from SD Worx. Anna Henderson just in the middle of our two leaders currently and the peloton. If Anna Henderson can just continue her effort, trying to get over the top of this climb, she can get herself back into this group, try and take a little bit of respite, take a gel on board, and hopefully she will be able to stay within the wheels. It's been a great effort from the British rider. They've been away for around 25 kilometres of the race. Start to see now the grimaces on the face of some of these riders. And again, on the left-hand side, Ashley Moolman-Pasio injects more pace to this, starts to make an attack straight onto the wheel, and very responsive to that is Ruth Winder in the Stars and Stripes there of Trek Segafredo. Michaela Hervey trying to come across for Canyon Schramm, and Amanda Spratt as well for Team Bike Exchange in that black, white and the Bianchi colour jersey. Now, after that attack and the injection of pace, the gap has drastically been reduced. 5 seconds only for Elise Chabet and Lucinda Brand. Brand in the blue, Elise Chabet in the red Swiss national champions jersey. And you can just see here, look at the difference in pace here as Ashley Moolman-Pasio comes towards the back wheel of Lucinda Brand. I don't think she's going to stop there, and Ashley Moolman-Pasio will want to try and go straight past these riders to continue the fragmentation of this group. And you can just see how many riders are just struggling with the pace here. Just over 500 meters until we crest the top of the climb. One of those riders who is struggling is Evita Music, the teammate of Cecilia Trupp-Ludwig. They've got Nicholas Meyer in the car as a sports director, and straight over the top of that, Ruth Winder has made her move. Currently the gradient 5%. A rider who's been on fantastic form. And soon also for the USA, here we see again the attack from Ruth Winder. The USA Cycling Federation will soon be making their selection for the Olympic Games. I think selection finishes on the 1st of May, so Ruth Winder having a fantastic last couple of weeks. She gets onto her drops as she's crested the top of the climb, gets onto her drops there. And now we have another attack on the right-hand side. Demi Vollering of SD Worx. The rider who was second to Ruth Winder at Brabantse-Pijl only just 1 week ago. Annemiek van Vleuten spots the danger here in the European Champions jersey, the white jersey there. She knows she has to close the gap immediately to Demi Vollering. She can't give the Dutch woman an inch on the road, and we've seen that in her results recently. Second at Amstel Gold, second at Brabantse-Pijl. She was third here last year. And Ruth Winder attacking this climb again as the road continues to go up. So 3 hours of racing is complete. And just at the back here we have Lucy Kennedy from Australia. And again, Elise Chabet out the front. Attacks the group again. She has something left in the tank despite being away in that breakaway trio. She's in pursuit of Ruth Winder now. 18 kilometers remaining, only 2 more climbs to come. The Côte de Chemin de Gus and the Mur de Huy. As we see that attack from Chabet as we go around the right-hand bend. Leapfrogs out of the peloton with a superb attack. No one able to respond to that one. No one was expecting, and Chabet again trying to get a big advantage to try and bridge across to Ruth Winder. So we have Ruth Winder followed by Elise Chabet, and then 6 riders, including Marianne Vos there in that magenta UCI Women's World Tour leaders jersey. And now all back together, only around 30 riders remain in this peloton. And just as it looked like there was some momentum being gained for the chase to Chabet, it's all sat up, and again now another move from a rider from Movistar. With Chabet being away, this really does benefit Ruth Winder, because the riders trying to jump across to Chabet when there's no cohesion to work to close the gap. It only means that Ruth Winder's gap can grow. 13 seconds now. And the rider who was born in Harrogate in Great Britain, in Yorkshire, now has 14 seconds. In the team car today for Trek Segafredo, Ina Joko Teutenberg, a formidable rider throughout her career. One of the best riders, a fantastic sprinter. Comes from Germany, in Cologne. Ruth Winder now, you can just see how hard this section of road in, despite it not even being a classified climb, just how difficult these roads here are in the Ardennes. In that small ring, keeping the cadence as smooth as possible. Chabet still not caught, despite the several attacks coming off the front here. Now a rider from Liv Racing wants to try and close that gap. Exchange response in that move. Katrin Allerud as well from Team Movistar. Cody Chapman of FDJ Nouvelle Aquitaine for Choroscope just starting to lose touch. Another rider who's a brilliant climber and really is a fantastic asset to Cecilia Uttrup-Ludwig. The two really do work well together. And now we see a complete lull in the action in the peloton. No one is wanting to continue the effort to try and close the gap to Ruth Winder. We're all looking around at who should close the gap. Movistar take it up there with Leah Thomas. She speaks into her radio. Katrin Allerud on her wheel. And again, no one wants to take it up at the front. Even Movistar with the two riders. Annemiek van Vleuten is there. 15.3 kilometers to go. 28 seconds now the gap for Ruth Winder. This really is a tremendous ride. And from this helicopter shot, you can get a sense of just how much daylight that Winder does have, and now a move from Liv Racing again. So they want to try and inject a little bit of pace to set things up for Soraya Paladin. Alison Jackson, another rider who has excelled on this in this race in previous editions. Cindy Plan there in this third wheel. Michaela Hervey as well of Canyon SRAM. Ruth Winder, if she wants to vie for the victory today, she needs to try and get to the Murder-Wee with a good time gap over the peloton. Elise Chabet really is one of the most aggressive riders of today's race. Her third attack of the day, and again the peloton not responding to her attack. She has daylight, only a few seconds, but this is incredible, really setting things up well for Canyon SRAM. Jorg Vernier in the minute, but what can Chabet do? Can she bridge across to Ruth Winder? 23 seconds is the gap, 11.4 kilometers remaining, and you can just see on the profile in the bottom right of your screen just where we are in the course. 1.8 kilometers in length. An average gradient of 6.5%, and oh, Chabet down on the corner. This is a real shame for the Swiss champion after such an impressive ride so far. As she goes around that left-hand corner, she just slipped out on the terrain, and we can just see a replay of what happened to Chabet here. She continued to pedal round and just caught a bit of gravel in at the side of the road there.
Into downward quokka.
You got HBF Flex 50 extras?
Yeah, I split my limit half physio, half general dental. Full chiro for me. Yep.
Split your extras limit your way across a range of services.
Sun Super and Q Super have joined to form a bigger, better fund. A fund with a fresh ambition to make the world of our more than 2 million members better. Welcome to Australian Retirement Trust.
He was a disgraced media mogul.
Maxwell had stolen all the money.
She was convicted for the unthinkable.
Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey.
One family, all scandal.
She knew the abuse that these girls were going to suffer.
Like father, like daughter. House of Maxwell, stream free on SBS On Demand.
What a shame, and what an impressive effort so far from Elise Chabet. But a heartbreak for the rider from Canyon SRAM, because really was one of the most aggressive riders of today. She's up and she's fine, which is great to see. Katrin Allerud there, the Norwegian rider on the front in the blue jersey for Movistar. But after that, the gap has gone out, 32 seconds to Ruth Winder now. So despite being on her own and despite lots of attacks and counter-attacks from the peloton, the likes of Elise Chabet, and now setting things up nicely for Annemiek van Vleuten, the European champion, out the saddle, closely followed by Elisa Longo Borghini and that tricolor of the Italian champions jersey from Trek Segafredo. Cecilia Ludwig on the wheel as well. And there is our world champion, Anna van der Breggen. Amanda Spratt sitting comfortably in fifth wheel there. Kasia Nieuwedoma as well. Marianne Vos just making that split. Just further down the line, you see Katrin Allerud look behind her. There's only around 8 riders in this front split, and we'll just have a look at how this happened. Katrin Allerud setting that pace. Annemiek van Vleuten attacking from around fifth wheel. No immediate reaction, but Elisa Longo-Borghini, the first rider to react. Just less than 1 kilometre until we crest the top of this penultimate climb. The average gradient 5.8%. Just see this situation on the road on the right hand side of your screen. So we have a rider from Canyon SRAM, a rider from DSM in the black jerseys. Bike Exchange represented as well with Amanda Spratt. We have 2 riders from SD Works, and here is the riders who are just tailing off here. Marianne Vos there in the magenta jersey. Number 106 as well, Sabrina Stultins, Katrin Allerud, Erika Mignaldi here on the back for Cerity WNT Pro Cycling with the number 111 on her back. But it's still Annemiek van Vleuten who is pushing the pace at the front of these riders. She's happy to try and split things up and open up a gap before she asks anyone else to come through and do a turn. A rider who's never won this race and really will be looking to add this 24th edition of FLÈCHE WALLONNE to her palmarès. Mavi Garcia just has joined the back of this group, the Spanish champion from BTC Ljubljana. 500 meters until we crest the summit of this penultimate climb, and it's still Annemiek van Vleuten on the front doing the work. 9 riders in this chasing group now. Demi Vollering also is there for SD Works. But still out front is Ruth Winder, so this is great news for Elisa Longo-Borghini. She doesn't have to contribute to the chase at all, so can force the others to close the gap to Ruth Winder. 10 kilometers to go, 14 seconds is the gap. Vollering now takes over at the front, opens up the gap to Annemiek van Vleuten. Annemiek van Vleuten unable to close the gap almost. Just see the distinct riding style of Van Vleuten. And smooth as ever on the left side, world champion Anna van der Breggen. As we crest the top of the climb, Ruth Winder goes under the AG banner. Demi Vollering on the front, followed by Annemiek van Vleuten, followed by Elisa Longo-Borghini, Anna van der Breggen, Kasia Nieuwedoma there. And still Ruth Winder pursues this fantastic ride. Now an attack from Mavi Garcia, the Spanish champion, closely followed by Demi Vollering. Annemiek van Vleuten straight onto that as well. Elisa Longo-Borghini with the red helmet and the tricolor on her shoulders, trying to close that gap. Nine riders chasing down the American champion, Ruth Winder from the USA. down ever so slightly, but now it's the time of the world champion Anna van der Breggen of SD Works. She waits no longer. She wants to try and close this gap. She's taken one rider with her, and it looks like it could be Cecilia Ludwig. Kasia Nieuwendomme there in the purple colours of Canyon SRAM on that turquoise bike, just trying to close the gap out the saddle, getting onto terms with the rider from SD Works. But still, Ruth Winder continues to lead this race and still continues to eke out more seconds from these riders despite their effort, despite their chase. 18 seconds now is the gap, and Ruth Winder doing an incredible job, just switching the pages on her computer. And now we see the first move on the right-hand side. Amanda Spratt from Bike Exchange. Out the saddle she goes, but she's immediately reacted to by Mavi Garcia. She's latched onto the wheel. But now from the group behind, all looking behind, Demi Vollering is the rider who takes it up. She knows that she can't let these two riders go clear. Annemiek van Vleuten just patrolling the wheel of Anna van der Breggen, the two champions from the Netherlands. Annemiek van Vleuten really knows that van der Breggen is the one to beat today. 6 times in a row she has been the queen of the Murderwee as Anna van der Breggen. And now Kasia Nieuwendomme out front with Demi Vollering. Elise Longo-Borghini, the rider there, trying to close things down. She takes a look behind her. She needs to try and go in pursuit of these two riders. Cecilia Ludwig on the wheel, followed by a rider from Team DSM. But still, despite the effort to try and close this gap to Ruth Winder, the time gap continues to rise and maintain at around 16 seconds. And here now you can just get a shot of the chasing riders in the background to Ruth Winder. They'll get a good view as to how far away the rider in the Stars and Stripes is. And this really plays into the hands of the chasers now because of the open roads. If they can continue this chase, but no one wants to come through and help Demi Vollering in this chase because SD Works have got 2 riders in this group. Juliette Lebeau in the black colours there with the black helmet for Team DSM, a French rider. So everyone's looking to SD Works to do the work. They've got the upper hand on of all the riders in this front group, having 2 represented. And every time there's a chase and then no one wants to come through, there's no cohesion, it means that it only benefits Ruth Winder out front, because you can see that gap has gone from 16 seconds up to 23 seconds. So the more looking at each other and spending time asking riders to come through, it only means that the gap continues to grow. And if SD Works want to take a 7th consecutive win, then they need to sacrifice one of the riders. Who are they going to sacrifice? Is it going to be Anna van der Breggen, or will Demi Vollering continue to do the work? Vollering, of course, 3rd last year when she was neck and neck on the Murderwee with van der Breggen. Likewise with Cecilia Ludwig. Just seeing that we have a group on the road that's only around 15 seconds behind these 9 chasers. So the longer they leave it and don't continue this chase to Ruth Winder, could we see some other riders getting back into contention? And there we see the reality of how much of a gap that these riders need to close, around 400 meters to Ruth Winder. looks like now that Demi Vollering has decided she wants to just continue this chase. She's going to set things up nicely. If she can keep the pace high, Kasia Nieuwiedoma just getting as aero as possible onto the wheel of Demi Vollering. Ruth Winder taking that corner very, very nicely, using all of the road. Taking the apex. She sees 4.2 kilometers to go. 27 seconds is her gap, and this is looking fantastic for the rider from Trek Segafredo. Likewise for Elisa Longo-Borghini in the chasing group. Doesn't necessarily have to contribute to the chase, but can sit back, use the wheels, surf the wheels in front of her, and just be patient, ready to pounce if Ruth Winder is caught. So they'll turn right at this roundabout, all through safely, as we get that aerial shot of Hui. And here we are back with our leader, Ruth Winder. 24 seconds on the drops. Nice solid upper body, putting all the power through the pedals. You can just see how fast she's going, 46 kilometers per hour. She goes through this wider section of road. So just to give you a little bit of an information as to what to expect, we'll turn right onto the Murderwee very shortly at around 1.3 kilometers to go. Climb is 7%, it ramps up to 10%, then 12%, then 14%, and as the road turns left at around 400 meters to go, the steepest of the gradients, 19%, and then we have a slight drop in the gradient around 300 meters to go to 13%, and with 100 meters to go around 9%, so you can just see how difficult this climb really is, how hard it is to judge. It's about patience. About being confident of what you can do with your effort. Do you want to go from the bottom of the climb? Do you want to wait? And we've seen in previous years it's come down on that steeper section of the course around 400 meters where riders have started to get daylight, and it's been a battle for the podium placings. So as Ruth Winder passes 2 kilometers to go, her gap has dropped slightly, 18 seconds now. And this is an incredible effort from the rider who is the national champion out the saddle, just trying to get as much effort out as possible. Well, Wednesdays are becoming a great success for Winder. Last week took a win in Brabant-Sipal. This week, 1.7 kilometers away from perhaps taking her first ever FLÈCHE WALLONNE victory, because right now the gap's still 15 seconds. Vollering is looking quite spent. You can just see the grimace on her face. No one else wanting to try and take this chase up. Juliette Lebeau from Team DSM there. Towards the front, Kasia Nieuwiedoma latched to the back wheel of Vollering. You can just see her with the Polish stripes on her cuff, denoting that she was a former Polish road race champion for Nieuwiedoma. But where are we going to see the first move come from? Amanda Spratt just gets out the saddle at the back of the this group. What can she do this year? A fantastic climber. Fantastic puncher, 33 years of age now. He's third at the World Road Race Championships back in 2019 in Harrogate. She starts to move up now. Amanda Spratt on the right-hand side with the white helmet and the Celeste colours on her cuff and the bike. And now Ruth Winder onto the Murder Wheel. You can just see we on the painted on the tarmac there, and as the group starts to close in now, Van der Breggen comes to the front for the first time in this chasing group. Spratt on her left-hand side, Elisa Longo-Borghini glued to Van der Breggen's wheel. She knows this is the wheel to follow, and now they have Ruth Winder in their sights. The gap only a few seconds now. Mavi Garcia here on the back, sitting tightly for Ali BTC Ljubljana, the Spanish champion. Following, her work is done for the day. Juliette Lebeau with number 42 in the black jersey, just trying to stay on terms. Cassia Nieuwendomme there as well. And now Vollering starts to get distance, and it's Anna van der Breggen, the world champion in the rainbow stripes, who's setting the pace here. Like fluid style in the saddle, still keeping the small gear turning. Takes a look behind to see what the damage is. And we now start to see some gaps opening up. Juliette Lebeau just trying to get back on terms with Annemiek van Vleuten's wheel. And there we see the gaps opening up, so we have the group of 5 almost going clear now. Van der Breggen setting that high pace, really putting the riders into difficulty. And that's the first sign of cracks we've seen from Cecilia Uttrup Ludwig, as she starts to rock and roll, shoulders going from side to side. Likewise with Annemiek van Vleuten. And just look at that gradient, 13% now. Mavi Garcia moves up. Who is going to make the first move? Cassia Nieuwendomme comes shoulder to shoulder with Anna van der Breggen. And we get to one of the steepest sections now. 18% is that gradient. You can just see there in the background. 300 meters to go, and here Annemiek van Vleuten going from side to side on the road, but it's still shoulder to shoulder for Anna van der Breggen and Cassia Nieuwendomme. Who's going to go first? Who's going to make that attack? Who's going to get out the saddle? Van Vleuten's coming up towards this duo out front. Elisa Longo-Borghini still in the saddle. Mavi Garcia on the left-hand side of your screen, but shoulder to shoulder, it really is becoming tense. Who is going to be able to take this victory? Is Anna van der Breggen going to take her 7th consecutive victory atop of the Murder Wheel? Cassia Nieuwendomme opens up. She goes on the left-hand side there for Canyon Schramm. She's gritting her teeth. Can Cassia Nieuwendomme take her first ever FLÈCHE Wallonne victory? Former Polish champion grits her teeth out the saddle on the left-hand side, but look at this from Anna van der Breggen. Number 1 on her back. She has won 6 times in a row. Can she make it 7? She opens up out the saddle. She starts to get daylight. Cassia Nieuwendomme grits her teeth. She's trying to get back on terms with the world champion. It looks like Anna van der Breggen of SD Works is going to take the win. She is the queen of the Murder Wheel. But what has Cassia Nieuwendomme got left in the tank? She shakes her head, Anna van der Breggen. She can't believe it. She is the victor atop of the Murder Wheel. 7 victories in a row since 2015. Second place to Cassia Nieuwendomme. Well, what a ride from Anna van der Breggen. She wasn't sure how she'd feel coming into this race. She was suffering a little bit of illness and wasn't sure if she'd be able to conquer the Murder Wheel, but she has. She will go out this year as forever the reigning champion of FLÈCHE Wallonne as she retires at the end of this season. And what an incredible, historic victory here. 7 victories. No one has ever come close to that. The only rider to come close is Marianne Vos with 5 victories. 3 hours and 28 minutes of racing. Here is your victor. Average speed 38 kilometers per hour, and here you can just see hanging over that fence. Just look at how much that effort has taken out of the world champion. Really was down to this rider here, Demi Vollering, who sacrificed her ride to try and close that gap to Ruth Winder in the closing 10 kilometers. Despite the the different efforts made by riders to try and close that gap. Elise Chabet, one of them as well, to Ruth Winder. It really did come down to that Demi Vollering had to sacrifice her ride to close the gap. They caught Ruth Winder at the lower slopes of the Murderwee, and we can just see how it unfolded here. Cassia Nieuwendomme started to edge Anna van der Breggen out with a couple of 100 meters to go, but van der Breggen just sat patiently, sat back tight with 100 meters to go. She started to open up 1-2 bike lengths and was riding clear, and then Cassia Nieuwendomme had nothing left to respond. With 50 meters to go, van der Breggen looked behind her, shakes her head in disbelief. She can't believe it's 7 victories. She is the queen of the Murderwee, and this is the 3rd time she's won in the rainbow jersey. Well, the difference in styles there. Van der Breggen, as always, with that poker face. Arms aloft, punches the air, and delighted to take a victory here in Huy, the 7th round of the UCI Women's World Tour. Cassia Nieuwendomme in 2nd. And here is our result. Elisa Longo Borghini takes 3rd place, the Italian champion for Trek Segafredo. So fantastic job done by them. Annemiek van Vleuten in 4th, Mavi Garcia in 5th, Juliette Lebeau in 6th, Ruth Winder in 7th. So great for her to hang on to that result, despite being away for the last 16, 17 kilometers. Anna Henderson in 7th, it's saying. Cecilia Uttrup Ludwig in 8th, Amanda Spratt in 9th, and Demi Vollering in 10th. Straight after the finish, just saying thank you to her teammate for the work that she'd done, Demi Vollering. Well, again, undefeated on this iconic climb in cycling. And here is the moment that she crossed the line, arms aloft. They can just see the battle for the 3rd place in the background there between Elisa Longo Borghini and Annemiek van Vleuten. And you can see the support at the side of the road as well for Cassia Nieuwendomme. One of the staff members, Beth de Rea, just giving some information as much as she could to Cassia there. And as soon as the acceleration came from Anna van der Breggen, Cassia could not respond. But what a fantastic battle there between the 2 riders. And it really was tense when they were riding side by side, almost psyching each other out. Who was going to make that first move? And it was Cassia to start to edge out Anna van der Breggen. She just sat patiently. She didn't panic. She knew she couldn't go too early, because this climb, if you go too early and you start to blow towards the finish line, there's no coming back from it. And this is where the experience really has come into play for van der Breggen. 7 victories in a row. So, please stay with us. We'll be bringing you the podium of today's race. And here is the team of SD Works. Niamh Fisher-Black, a wonderful job done by the young rider from New Zealand. Likewise with Anna Shackley, the rider who really did impress at the World Championships last year in Imola, racing for the British national team. Caroline Canwell as well, doing a huge bulk load of the work. when we had our three leaders previously, with Anna Henderson, Lucinda Brand and Elise Chabet.
Voilà, de retour donc au pied du podium protocolaire pour la cérémonie qui va s'ouvrir dans quelques minutes. En présence des trois premières naturellement de cette épreuve. On rappelle donc le podium de l'édition 2021 de la Flèche Wallonne avec la 7e victoire consécutive pour Anna van der Breggen qui rejoint justement le podium protocolaire.
Well, that's the 7th victory for SD Worx in 2021, so really are becoming very dominant in the racing. Always race well as a team, have a great tactic. They've got some great riders up and coming as well, and here is a replay from earlier on with Elise Chabet, Lucinda Brand and Anna Henderson when they were away. This is Krista Dobell-Hickok from Rally Cycling on the front in the orange jersey, and this was where they started to close the gap to our trio. The maximum gap that the three leaders got was 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's a race where we see the peloton whittling down, very attritional. The three riders worked very, very well together. And it was SD Worx who had missed that move. And you can just see as well that a big group of riders being tailed off from that chasing group. And this was the moment where Anna Henderson started to lose touch with Brand and Chabet. Niamh Fisher-Black closing that gap to Henderson now. And this is where Ashley Moolman-Passio closed to Brand and Chabet. And straight over the top of that, Ruth Winder counter-attacked, and this was the moment she opened up daylight to the group. No one was able to respond to her and attack. She went over the top of the climb with a slight advantage to the chasers, and she continued to increase that gap from around 10 seconds upward to 24 seconds, and at the bottom and the lowest slopes of the Mer de Huy, this is when she started to get caught, and it was Van der Breggen who decided she wanted to set the pace on the climb. Certainly works better for her rather than the different injections of pace, and she was shoulder to shoulder with Cassia Nieuwiedoma there, almost can barely separate the two, and it was Nieuwiedoma who wanted to open things up first with around 175 meters to go. And just as we crest the 100 meters to go mark, it was Van der Breggen who put an injection of pace in. Nieuwiedoma unable to respond to that attack, and she was giving it everything she's got left, side to side, out the saddle. And again, in disbelief, shaking her head, Anna van der Breggen really is the queen of the Mer de Huy. 7 victories in a row, and the battle for third place there with the lunge to the line from Elisa Longo-Borghini. That's a little bit of redemption after Sunday's race at Amstel Gold Race. And here we will hear from our victor of the day, Anna van der Breggen, the world champion of SD Worx.
Yet another success for you on the Flèche Wallonne, but this one seemed extremely difficult, no?
Yeah, it was. Maybe it's mostly about the Muur in the end, but the race was hard from the beginning on. The pace was really high on all the climbs, and I think we also made some tactical mistakes in the race, so we needed to chase. But yeah, the team did really great to fix that, and even in the end, Demi closed the gap almost to Ruth. Yeah, that's incredible. If you make a decision like that as a young girl, it says a lot about your future, I think also. And of course, I am really happy. I'm really happy that I could do it still, and yeah, I could take this win for the team.
Was this the most difficult one?
Yeah, I think you can say it a bit. Yeah, because we needed to chase quite some, and we didn't have the control all the race. So yeah, there was a bit more pressure also for me because the girls worked so hard already, and you just can give it all on the Muur. So I'm happy. It was a good battle with Cassia, I must say, and she was strong. But yeah, really happy I could win this one.
I suppose it must have been pretty emotional as well to win the FLÈCHE Wallonne again for the last time.
Yeah, it's a strange thought that I'm sitting here for the last time and do this race. But yeah, next year I won't bother the girls anymore. It's up to somebody else, and that's a good thing. I'm really happy to finish it off like this, and with 7 straight wins, it's incredible.
And now you have to win again in 3 days' time for Liège-Bastogne-Liège. That's the next goal, of course.
Well, I don't have to do anything. It would be nice, yes. I think the course suits me a bit less. It needs to be in the middle of the race then, because the finish is pretty flat. Yeah, I mean, we will see. We try our best again, but first enjoying today because, yeah, it's a really cool win.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Well, there we have it, the final time that we will see Anna van der Breggen race at FLÈCHE Wallonne as she retires at the end of this year. Next year we will see a new victor atop of the Mer de Huy, but for now, 7 straight victories creating history. She really is the queen of FLÈCHE Wallonne. So stay with us, we will shortly be bringing you the podium presentation for the race. The riders going behind the stage, currently getting themselves with some fresh kit on, wipe down, recovery shake, and we'll soon be bringing you that. Well, Van der Breggen made that 12 wins for the Netherlands in the last 15 races. The Dutch ever so dominant in this race. Marianne Vos winning 5. Just see some more riders crossing the line. And here is Cassia Nieuwendomme, 2nd place today.
What's the feeling right now after that tight battle with Anna van der Breggen, who wins again?
Well, I am happy. I'm happy to get on the podium, and yet I'm also I wouldn't call it disappointed, but of course I wanted to win. So, like, you always have those mixed feelings. Although I know that Anna is just the master of this climb. She knows it so well, and she won it for the 7th time. So I guess that says it all. Personally, I'm happy for the way how my team raced today, because I felt so comfortable from the start, from the beginning of the race, and that gave me this space in my head just to focus on the final. So that was really nice.
Yeah, a satisfaction to be 2nd, and I know she's a friend of yours, but next year Anna van der Breggen won't be racing this race, so that's also good news, no?
Yeah, definitely that gives us this one extra spot, you know, to move up, especially on this climb, especially in this race. Of course, like, to be honest, with every passing year, the women's level is increasing, so sometimes you think like, okay, next year that person isn't racing, that person isn't racing, so I should be winning, but unfortunately it's not that easy.
Thank you very much, Cassia.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Well, as Cassia said, the level here in the racing increasing race by race. We really have got an exceptional amount of talent coming through. Always new riders coming through the ranks, and a number of those in that final part of the peloton just then. The likes of Demi Vollering coming through, Michaela Hervey as well, Niamh Fisher-Black, Sarah Gigante as well from Tibco's Silicon Valley Bank as well. But next year we will see a new victor atop of the Mer de Huy, Cassia Nieuwedome there in second place. She'll be, I think on reflection after that, we'll be very happy as we look to Liège-Bastogne-Liège. We will be live for the race on Sunday, so please do join us. Put it in your diaries. Join myself, Hannah Walker, for all the coverage. Last year's victor, Lizzie Deignan, took a solo victory into Liège, who will be victorious on Sunday. In the meantime, if you've got any questions you'd like answered from either today's race or about the women's professional peloton, don't hesitate. You can send me a message on Twitter at SpannerWalker. Please join us on Sunday as well. It will be a fantastic race, the third race in the Ardennes Classics. We had Amstel Gold on Sunday with Marianne Vos taking the victory. Second was Demi Vollering, third was Annemiek van Vleuten. Today is the second race, always on a Wednesday. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, always the third race in the Ardennes. So as the riders just get themselves ready for the podium, the soigneurs just helping the riders freshen up. And soon we will be bringing you the podium presentation of the 24th edition of La Flèche Wallonne. As we see a few more riders coming across the line here. Nina Kessler in the centre of your screen. Laura Senfio there in the red helmet of Ceratizit WNT Pro Cycling. Riders just completing the race as they pass our commentary box here at the top of the Mer de Huy. Heidi Franz and Liane Ganzer just crossing the line there, as well as Marta Bastianelli, former world champion from LA BTC Ljubljana.
C'est également son troisième podium sur la Flèche Wallonne, la championne d'Italie Elisa Longo-Borghini.
Well, here is our Italian champion Elisa Longo-Borghini in third position to the podium.
Elisa Longo-Borghini pour l'équipe Trek Segafredo, saluée sur ce podium par nos amis élus et personnalités. Eric Dosson, bourgmestre de Huy faisant fonction, Giovanni Bozzi, directeur au service des sports de la province de Liège, et Fria Leunens, directrice sponsoring AG Insurance. Dans quelques instants à la deuxième
Well, this is the third time that Elisa Longo-Borghini has been on the podium at Flèche Wallonne. The first time in 2013, she was second. A year later in 2014, she was third, and now again back into third position as Cassia Nieuwedome comes onto the podium. Second place for the former Polish champion. And again for Cassia, second time she's been on the podium in this race. She was third in 2017, second this year. What can she do next year? But in the meantime, here is our winner, Anna van der Breggen.
Elle remporte cette 24e édition, la championne du monde, Anna van der Breggen.
The world champion for the 7th time in a row. And the final time before she bows out at the end of this year, retires from professional cycling. What an illustrious career she has had.
Anna van der Breggen qui remporte pour la 7e fois consécutive la Flèche Wallonne, 2e Katarzyna Niewiadoma, 3e Elisa Longo-Borghini. On peut les saluer par vos applaudissements, mesdames, messieurs. C'est le podium de cette 24e édition, salué par Eric Dossogne, bourgmestre de Huy faisant fonction, par Giovanni Bozzi, directeur du service des sports de la province de Liège.
54 professional victories to Van der Breggen's name.
Pour AG Insurance. Voilà ce superbe podium, 7e victoire et une très belle explication finale dans ce juge de paix qui est le mur de 8. Anna Van der Breggen, Katarzyna Niewiadoma, Elisa Longoborghini.